Okay, I guess we are live.
Mhm.
So, hello everyone who is watching. I am Luna Alba, and today is my party. Not my birthday party, but my book launching party. Yay!
Woo!
So, today, the first book of the series Axis Mundi, it is available on Amazon. I have it right here in my hands. It's so pretty and
Oh,
beautiful,
It looks like one of those like nice like soft covers.
right? It
yes.
is a
Kind of
soft
have that.
cover.
Mhm.
So, go to Amazon now. Like, you don't have to watch me. Just go to Amazon, order it, and then you guys come back.
Mhm.
Um,
We'll wait for you.
yes. And I have these beautiful ladies with me who I love so much, and they're amazing authors as well. I have Mia, Cassis, and Jordan. If you guys want to
Hello.
say something before I go on and like not stop talking.
Just go ahead, Jordan. You
Oh
go
no, Mia,
first.
you're first. Look.
Oh
You're
my
right there.
God.
You're right. You're right. Oh, that
I'm
way.
right.
You're right
I don't
there.
know. Okay. So, well, it's your party, and you can buy it if you want to. So, thank you for having me here. And I just got my ticket, my entrance ticket to this live. I already bought it,
Nice.
the Kindle version. So I'm
Woo!
really excited about it. And well, let's see how it goes today. Thank you for having me here.
You want to tell us a little bit
Yay.
you're writing right now, or what do you like to write in general?
Well, I do a lot of fantasy, but I write in Spanish right now. Someday I'm going to be writing in English. Maybe you can do the translation.
Count me in.
Yeah, and it's about your urban fantasy, like
Mhm.
things we like to do when we are not working. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like that, and a lot of music because, well, with Luna, we love music, and I try to write about the things that a fan does, you know, like
Mhm.
Mm.
only fans we get it, we understand each other. So sometimes I love to write about that. So right now I'm on my second book, which is going to be released on December 7th, the Spanish version as well. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm having all these like all these things that you are doing, Luna. It's are inspiring me to do
Oh,
on
thank
the
you.
release. Yeah. So
Mhm.
you go, girl.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Luna's an inspiration to us all.
Yes. Please.
Stop it.
Yes, you are.
Oh.
And
Yeah. So I am Jordan. I am a writer, barista, and collector of mugs. I don't have a mug today because it's 9 o'clock and I've been up since 4:30. So just water for today. I write high fantasy, usually young adult. And yeah, I am currently working on a project called Project Daisy, Draft 2, and it's it's slow and steady. But you know what? I'm trying to. I took a pretty decent break for a couple months, and so trying to write again after taking a break is just so hard.
yeah.
It's like, what is this even good? What are words? Mhm.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to get back in the habit of that. And yes, I was so excited. Thank you, Luna, for inviting me.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to have you guys. And speaking
Yeah.
of spending time without writing,
Mhm.
for some of you that might not know, it took me 5 years to write the Spanish version of this first book,
Mhm.
Oh,
but it took me only 1 year to translate it and get it edited and get it out. So this is what consistency does to you when you're a writer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Every time it's just like you speed up the process just that tiny little bit.
exactly.
Mhm.
And well, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my book right now. As my fellow authors, I write fantasy, though I try to give it a little bit of a twist. So I am known for the cute, creepy stories on YouTube. So if you like creepy and cute, go to my YouTube channel, Once Upon a Midnight, and you'll find a lot of those things. So in my book as well, I have put a little bit of scary stuff because I love blood and, you know,
gory things.
everything
Yeah.
is in the inside. What
Yeah.
Mhm.
counts is always in the inside.
Mhm.
Um, and
Especially
although,
when it's on the outside too.
exactly,
Yeah.
when you can see it, it's the
Oh
Mhm.
best.
God, no! I hate that. You make me suffer a lot because I already read the Spanish version of the book, and she's like so gory sometimes, and I'm non-gory a lot at all. And I was like, why she's writing this? Oh my god, I'm so stressed right now.
Yes. So that being said, even though you could like maybe put my book into the genre of young adult, I do include like most of my characters are older. So like in their middle 20s, late 20s, even 30s. So this is why I include a lot of not, children appropriate stuff. So if you want to read at night and you have nightmares, let me know, because that would make me really happy.
Wow.
That should be your catchphrase.
Yeah.
if you have nightmares, let me know, because that will make me really happy.
Yes. Yeah, like that should be in your bio.
I am gonna quote you on that.
Yeah, when you're like doing like author signings, eventually that should be what you're writing.
Yes. Yes. And if you got nightmares, you might get an extra short story, one that is not released, just because you're just making my day, Yeah. So we still have one more guest to appear. So because I really want to wait for her to be here and start the whole launching process, because it's going to be a process. I want to invite everyone who is a writer and that is watching us for a little sprint, since we are in the NaNoWriMo first week. Though I must confess that I have not written a single word.
I was actually going to mention that because we're buddies on there, and you can see with the update, you can see everyone's percentage.
Yeah, mine is 0.
Yeah, I keep scrolling down, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's great! This person's at 17%. This person's at 16%." And I'm like, I'm down below a little bit more, and then I just see Luna, and I'm like, I feel seen with Luna.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a lot to prepare.
So. Yeah, in her defense is just the launching day today. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But today we're starting. Today we're gonna get it done, and I want to share with everyone that I am going to actually start translating book number 2 of this series, Axis Mundi. So it might change, but right now the title is Fire of Life. So let's see what happens. Do you guys want to share what you're going to be working on in this sprint?
God. Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's not a rhyme. I get it totally. I have written like 1,000 words right now, but pretty decent. I think. I hope. But I have this whole project planned, and everything was working just fine. And then October came, and it was crazy for me right now. So I don't know if I'm going to work what I have planned, or I just going to let my head just explode sometime. So I don't know what I'm going to write about, but let's do that. Yeah.
You know what? I think in the spirit of Luna's cute horror kind of vibe, you should definitely explode today.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. Yeah. But I don't know. I agree. I'm going to like get dirty all the screen with my.
True.
It's fine.
That is a big cleanup project after.
I'll send you Windex after.
Please.
Oh, not partner. No, nothing to do with Windex. Just saying.
It's not a sponsor.
It's not a sponsor. Just letting you know.
We're gonna get flagged.
But okay, so what are you writing about, Jordan?
I am working on Project Daisy. I was actually working on it a little bit before, just to try to because I knew Luna said that we were going to be doing sprints. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get my mind ready, because today was the holiday launch at Starbucks, and there was a lot today. But yes, it's it is a new young adult fantasy, high fantasy novel, and yes, it's right now. I'm kind of working on the tagline of Venom meets fairy tales.
Nice.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's not quite it, but that's as close to it as it's getting right now.
Close is better than nothing. All right. So what are you guys feeling like? 15 minutes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think 15 minutes is okay. So let me open my.
Sounds
Mhm.
good.
And I
I
see
have
that
my tech guy here with a little timer. So you guys tell me, are you ready?
Mhm.
All
Yes,
right.
Ready.
let's do it.
3,
Ready.
2, 1. Let's go. All right, we are all done.
Yeah.
And
Woo!
and welcome, Zara.
Woo!
Hi, Zara.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, you guys look so snuggly. That's
I
what I want to
know.
do right now.
I'm jealous right now.
We wanted to play during that sprint, so I got nothing done.
Oh, that
no,
is okay.
you got some.
I mean,
you got playtime done, and that's more than enough.
puppies are puppies,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we all
He's
like
9
puppies
and a
here.
half, but she definitely acts like a puppy.
So. Yeah, so cute. How did it go?
Mine went really well. I am almost finished. I've given up on actually writing in like chapter 1 today. So I'm just kind of like I'm adding to my outline for chapter 2. So I'm almost done adding things to chapter 2, scene 2. So
Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, well, for me it was weird because I started writing in English and I was like, wait, I write in Spanish. Sorry, mine. I have to change it like real fast.
Switch it around. It happens. It happens.
Yeah. But it was
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was the same that happened when I was translating When We Were of Dreams. I saw the translation. I read really quick through it, and then I just wrote whatever came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I wrote a little bit of a different book from the Spanish to the English. I mean, it's the same, but not the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
like the structure is there, but like the wooden slats you put on are a little bit different.
Well, if you had a direct translation from like one language to another, a lot of the times it like sounds stilted in some areas. So like I'm sure whatever you did is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think, and I shared this with Mia when I started translating When We Were of Dreams. I had a hard time finding my actual voice in English because apparently it is very different from the Spanish one, and it's the same when you talk. Apparently, your personality changes when you talk one language to the other. So it happened. The same happened when I was writing. So it took me a while to find my voice, and once I found it, I'm like, okay, I get it. This is where I am. So, yeah.
That's cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, I find with because this is the first time I spent a lot of time on my first project and I have the voice down pat, like it's beautiful. And then I started on my new project and I'm like, but the voice, I have no voice here. So it's been a process.
It is a process, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So Zara, tell us a little bit about you before we start with a little presentation I have for everyone.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 6 books, 2 trilogies. One is young adult paranormal and the other is new adult sci-fi with aliens. For Nano, I'm working on a young adult, but like upper young adult, the same way that my trilogy is. But it's dystopian romance, and it's going to be a standalone. Thank God. After publishing 2 trilogies.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm having fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Also, your hair looks so cute like that.
I know. Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is very cute.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So how about we start a little bit with like this presentation, like PTSD from like high school, but we'll try to, get through it without freaking out.
Yeah, Zara,
You're doing fine.
Yeah, we have a PowerPoint we get to watch.
Yes. So I'll have my tech guy. Please share the screen.
My gosh, this is so professional.
This looks amazing.
Yes.
Well, I have to thank Mia because she did this for me because she is just amazing. So all the credit goes to her.
Anything for you, love.
Thank you so much. I love you. I love you so much.
I love you too.
All right. So as everybody knows, and if not, this is my first book, Wind Weaver of Dreams, from the fantasy series Axis Mundi. It is fantasy with a little bit of dark fantasy and hopefully giving a lot of nightmares to some people. It is now available on Amazon in Kindle version and paperback. And I will have, maybe in a couple of months, it will be also available through InstaSpark. So
Woo.
next, please. So this is me.
With a different
look.
I love your hair in every single photo I've ever seen.
Right?
I'm like, I
Thank
don't
you.
care that it's always different. I
Her
just
hair
love
is
it.
different in every single picture, and I'm just like, why do you
Yeah.
look so good all the time?
Oh, thank you.
It's
I like
really
to experiment a
hair.
lot. I like to experiment a lot. So as you can see, I tried and I didn't fight my hair, which was like a milestone.
Mhm.
So this is me. I was born in Mexico City, as many of you know. So I started my writing journeys writing in Spanish. So the series is called El Eje de los Mundos, and the first book is Viento Tejero de Sueños. So this book, I actually started writing it when I was in Tokyo. So it kind of goes along a little bit with the actual story, but any similarity to reality is not happening. At least fiction.
Mhm.
Everything is fiction. Everything came from my head. Has nothing to
Everything is
do
a
with me.
coincidence.
Everything is a coincidence. Okay, it just happened that it was in the same place.
Yes.
So I did self-publish this book on October 15 of 2018. And then finally, after thinking that I would never, ever see the English version of When We Were of Dreams, I said, okay, it's my first year participating in NaNoWriMo. Why not try to translate it? Let's do it, because I have a bachelor's degree in translation. So I'm like, why pay someone else if I can pay myself with a lot of, treats and clothing and everything else? So I said, why not? Let's
Treat
do it.
yourself.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And this is how, on November 2020, When Weaver of Dreams started to actually exist. I like horror. I like fantasy. Yeah, everything else is there. I'm fluent in English, or at least I want to think that I
We
am fluent
hope.
in English. I am fluent in Spanish because I'm Mexican, and I have been studying Japanese. I am not fluent in Japanese, but I hope that one day I will.
Mhm.
Woo.
I believe in you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. At least someone does.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
All right. So let's get to When We Were of Dreams.
Mhm.
So this book starts with Joanna Cobor. She's moving from Mexico to Japan. And she has had these nightmares, these visions, and she didn't know what that meant, right? It was just like weird and strange, but she thought, hey, let's give it a try. Let's move to another country and maybe everything will stop and I'll have a better future. But she never thought that it was actually the other way around. She went to a concert of her favorite band, which is called Vortex. And that unleashed something that she never thought would actually happen. And she realized that this was just the start of a really complicated future that had very strong links to the past. A very past.
Very fast.
Very past.
Oh.
All right. So who is who and who are the main characters of this book? So as I said, we have Joanna Cobor. She was born October 13, 1987. So by the time the book starts, she's 27. She's from Mexico and lives in Tokyo, Japan. She can sense spirits, and she has affinity for the wind as an element. She always has a lucky charm that is a pendulum of a lapis lazuli. She wants to be a translator, but she fails miserably. And she only has her mom and her dad, Adrian Cobor and Killian Cobor, and a little mix called Chopper. So that is her family.
Love that.
That's cute.
Then we have Joseki Teru. He was born on April 1st, 1983. He is 30 by the start of the book. He lives in Japan, and he is a vocalist of Vortex. So he writes all the songs, he composes most of the music, and he can see the aura of people, and he can also sense spirits. And he has this special ability that he can materialize his energy into different objects, like animals or weapons. His mother passed away, Kazumi Joseki. His father is still alive, Azuma Joseki, and he had an older sister who passed away as well, Kana Joseki. I'm not going to say a lot more because I want you guys to read it. So we can go to the next.
Spoiler.
Spoiler,
Yes.
So we have Maya Salabert. She is one of Joanna's best friends. She was born on March 23, 1989. She's 25 at the start of the book. She was from Mexico as well.
Her birthday's close to mine, not date.
Oh, really? When is your
My
birthday?
birthday's March 20th. And
Oh,
I'm reading
man.
that she likes tarot cards and fire. And I'm like, oh, it's
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. So, yeah,
Oh.
so she has premonition revisions. She's really good with tarot cards. She's an editorial assistant, and she's really, really, really good at it. She's a little bit of a workaholic, but that might change. 'cause
I
you
was
know
going to
why?
say.
your story. And I'm like,
And this is why everything's fiction. It's just a very big
it's just a
coincidence.
coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. She's my favorite character. I haven't read your book, but she's my favorite character.
I
She's
love
the
it.
best
I love it.
character, just so you
So her mother is Elisa Saravert, father unknown, nobody knows. And she has two younger brothers, Julian Estrada and Benjamin Estrada. They are her half siblings.
Mhm.
Then we have Origami Giro. He was born August 9, 1982. He's 32 at the start of the book. He lives in Japan. He was born in Japan. He's, the perfect student. He comes from a really wealthy family, really good position and economic position and everything. He practiced kendo and had a lot of medals during high school, and he is really good at planning strategies. And he is the guitarist of Vortex. His family is just his mom and his dad, Origami Michiko and Origami Sato.
I love all
Then-
of these, like the character panels. Did you make them all?
I made them through a website that I might say after because I don't remember the name. I think it's Pix Crew.
Big true. Yeah.
Yes. So it's amazing. Like if you want to fantasize on what your characters would look like,
Mhm.
that's the place to go. So whoever did it, like kudos to you. And
Mhm.
you did an amazing job because it's really cool to
I
just build
created
your...
one of like me on that website because
Yeah.
Loon Bunny Creative had that was their profile picture when they were on a stream of mine, and I was like, wait, what's that? So I can vouch. It's a really cool story.
I know, it's really cool. Like I just loved being able to show what the characters looked in my head,
Mhm.
So it was really cool. Then we have Donna Brienne. She was born April 28, 1989. She's 25. She
That
was
is
born in
close to my
Mexico.
birthday.
And that is close to your birthday. You're right. She is another of Joanna's best friend. She and Maya would travel to Japan, and that's when everything is going to start. She has a talent for using herbs, flowers, and plants, as well as creating homemade remedies. You have cramps? Go to Dana. You have a headache? Go to Dana. You don't want to see your boyfriend? Go to Dana. Whatever you want, you go to Dana.
That's an awesome talent,
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I might need her right now.
Yeah.
So she's a fashion designer, and her mother is Laura Brienne, and her father Jack Brienne, and she has no siblings. And then we have Amano Kay. He is the drummer of Vortex. He was born December 20th, 1983. He's 29. He has a sense for magical energy, though he doesn't have any special skills at the beginning of the book. He's really good at kendo. He's very, very good at it. And he's a drummer, as I said. His mother is Amano Hina. His father passed away, is Amano Aoki, and he has an older sister who he doesn't talk to, who is Matsuda Sayuri, because she's married. So,
Yep.
yes.
So that's why you don't talk to people who are married.
No. Well, you talk to me, but not to others.
I'll talk to you. Yes.
Married, you're done. It's
Yeah.
I will talk.
And last but not least, a little of a mystery character. His name is Renzo Moore. He was born July 19, 1977. He's 37. Nobody knows so far until you read it the place he was born. He can fight using several weapons, although he prefers the katana. He has a sense for magical energy. He's a family doctor and a healer. So you got a cut, you go to Renzo. You want a really bad joke, you go to Renzo. And the family is unknown until further notice. And that would be it for the main characters in the book.
Oh.
So, as I said, get your copy. Don't look at me. Go get your copy. Go to Amazon, order it, and then you come back. And on Kindle version or paperback version.
You should put the links in the description of the video.
I will put the links in the description. As I told my other friends, Zara, you see me all put together, but I was actually screaming inside before we started. Yeah,
Oh, it was pretty great.
it was great.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. Well,
Mhm.
thank you, Mia, for doing the presentation for me.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
so great.
I had to work, but I was like, I don't care. I have to do the presentation for Luna. I don't care.
Mhm.
I love
Mhm.
it.
This takes priority, obviously.
Of course, of
Mhm.
course.
Of course. And I also want to add a little reading of my book. It's not going to take too long. So if you guys are all set for, a little fragment,
I'm ready.
I would like to.
Oh my God.
Well, I need some water as well because my mouth is
I
dry.
would drink this, but if I spilled this on her, I'm not convinced it wouldn't stain her white hair orange. So I'm not
Oh
gonna-
man. Okay, so I had a
Yes.
dog before I started.
Mhm.
Not related, but I had a dog, and he was white. And one time, he had a tummy ache. So I don't know if it was my mom, and she was like, "Well, we can give him a little bit of Pepto-Bismol,
Oh,
because
he
why
turned
not?"
pink.
Okay, so it spilled on his head, and he had a pink mohawk for like a whole month.
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing. It was amazing. So yeah, don't spill things on your dog.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. All right, so let's get
Mommy,
this
go
started.
chill. Go chill. Your bed's over there.
Bear with me because I tend to read very fast, so I'm going to try to take deep breaths in between.
Mhm. Don't be nervous. It's just us.
Yes. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully there's more people, but if not, okay. Oh yes.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, I don't know if that's like the compliment you think it is.
Just think about us. Just that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like just pretend you're like, yeah,
In
you're,
front of
you're,
the
you're
mirror.
you're just reading to your tech person that's behind the computer.
Yes.
Sounds
just-
good.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So let's get started. When I left the apartment, the streets weren't that busy, probably due to the time and that it was Monday. When I got to Harajuku, however, it was quite packed. This place was definitely living up to its reputation. A lot of people were wearing interesting outfits, from cosplay to Gothic Lolita and everything in between. I decided to visit the sanctuary first and go back to Takeshita Street when I got hungry. A tori, which is an arch-like structure made out of wood or stone built at the entrance of Shinto shrines, decorated the entrance to the Meiji sanctuary. These gates mark the limit between the secular and holy space. Little pebbles covered the path that traveled between the wooded area. I read some of the information available and learned this place was built in honor of the Meiji Emperor and the Shogun Empress in 1915. Halfway through the path, there was a sake barrel exhibit donated by various brewers. Because sake held a strong symbolism and served as a way of keeping the deities happy, they were part of the decoration in many temples. Reaching the precinct called Nayen, I took a moment to appreciate the buildings of the sanctuary. They were a lot bigger than I expected. Each building marked out the area of the Nayen. The green roofs, representative of Japanese culture, matched the tops of the trees. At the entrance of one of the smaller buildings, young Miko were selling lucky charms and greeting the visitors. They were wearing the traditional outfit that identified them as priestesses of the temple, a red hakama and a white kosode. I took a closer look at the amulets. One of the priestesses told me that these charms were called omamori, and that the phrase embroidered in them gave each one of them a different use. I took one that read Shingan Joju, which means earnest prayers being answered. "What is your heart's deepest desire?" the Miko asked in Japanese. I tilted my head, wondering why she had asked something so personal. I smiled and put the omamori down. The woman grabbed me by the wrist and looked at me in the eyes. "You can't escape the sins of the past," she said. I tried to free myself, but my body felt weak under her grip. I felt lightheaded. Just like the night before, the scene around me became faint. I could hardly recognize where I was. Then the image cleared up. I was somewhere else, yet again. Instantly, my pulse sped up, making me feel even dizzier. "Breathe, Joanna, breathe," I told myself, knowing that I wouldn't gain anything if I lost control. As my breath became steadier and my heartbeat went back to normal, I observed the place without going too far. It was a hallway of wooden floors and shoji, paper doors. At least I was still in Japan. There was nothing more around. A strange instinct invited me to go ahead and explore a little bit more. A sensation I could only describe as being under a spell. I opened the first door. Behind the shoji was a room. The sun that came in softly through the window was warm. It made the vision very real, just like that of the night before. At least there was no fire this time. In the middle of the room was a young woman, kneeling with her eyes closed. I instinctively apologized for entering just like that, but she didn't move. I came closer, so much that it was impossible for her not to notice me unless I wasn't there. Taking advantage of the situation, I observed her. She couldn't have been more than 15 or 16 years old. She had her dark hair up in a complex hairstyle decorated with golden hairpins. The sleeves of her beautiful red and gold kimono spilled over the tatami floor like bright red paint on a canvas. Beyond her, through the window, I could see a part of the garden. It had different types of flowers whose name I didn't know, and a spring water decorated with stones. The sound of the door opening behind me startled me, and I backed up, looking for a place to hide. There was no such place. The room was quite empty. There was a man at the door. He entered the room without asking. He, too, was unable to see me. The subtle expression marks on his forehead made me think he was younger than he appeared, in his late 30s perhaps. Just like the young girl, he was wearing an elegant garment. I thought he could be a monk or a priest. The man stood in front of the girl. His facade was like that of a mountain, tall, imposing, unbreakable. The girl looked up at him, and for a second, her face filled up with sadness. She was a prey in the aim of a hunter, but she remained quiet. "It is time," the man said, in a calm voice, ignoring the heavy tears that flooded the girl's eyes. I had somehow understood what the man had just said, even if he spoke in archaic Japanese. The girl lowered her face in obedience as the man left the room. She attempted to stand up and fell to the floor like an autumn leaf. She was crying, painful silent tears that no one but me could hear. Feeling for someone crying so desperately could be normal, but what I felt was beyond empathy. Her pain was my own. The despair of losing something that was meant to belong in your heart pierced my own chest. I tried to talk to her. I wanted to put my arms around her and tell her she didn't have to do anything she didn't want to. I could help her run away from all the pain. My voice was nothing but a faraway echo, silent and unheard, just like her weeping. Suddenly, a strange force pulled me away from that vision. This time, I offered resistance. I didn't want to leave her, but I wasn't in control. An energy stronger than mine ripped me away. The image of the young girl became blurry, slowly slipping away. I fell to my knees when I couldn't keep my balance anymore. I was back at the Meiji Shrine. "Can I help you?" asked a woman with a British accent. I looked up at the stranger and tried to reply, but my mouth felt so dry I could barely speak. The wind touched my cheeks. I could still feel the traces of my own tears. And that's it.
Wow.
Wow.
Would you consider making an audiobook like you recording it? Because I love hearing you read it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And this isn't like just me like saying it, you know, like I'm very picky about voices, and I was actually I'm in a class in my grad school program now for the next 5 weeks, because we already had 2 of the 7 classes about like podcasts and audiobooks or whatever. And with the first class, she was like, "Oh, like who listens to audiobooks?" And I was like, "I do, but like mostly autobiographies, because when it's the person speaking themselves, it's cool. But like when it's fiction and like you don't have a good narrator, it's like hell." But like I loved your voice reading that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Luna, you're like, oh, it was just so good. And like I don't listen to audiobooks, but I just probably because you had such a connection to your book, and you could have like the intonation was just like amazing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
I loved everything about it, but I would actually listen to this as an audiobook.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you just gave me an idea.
You're welcome.
That is 2022's project.
Yes. Oh,
2024 something. Just let her write the second book.
Translating the second book and you know everything else. It's just
this is true. But I definitely would take that into consideration because yeah, I enjoy it. So I hope you guys like it and you get, you know, a little bit of what this is all about and you're curious about it.
I'm gonna buy it, but I think I have to wait until I have more money to buy it in paperback. So I'll like buy it as an ebook and then be like, I'm finally getting it in paperback.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I don't know if we have some comments.
We do. You have a bunch of comments.
Oh, wow.
They've been rolling in.
Yes. Let's see. What do we have here?
Excited friends and family.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about their March birthdays.
Yeah.
And said you're not an Aries, and I'm on the Pisces Aries cusp.
Oh,
so when I'm like ready to fight someone. My Aries coming through.
That's so funny.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have reactions.
It's because of your voice. It was so
Yeah.
intense during your reading. I was like, oh my God, I want to keep hearing her, like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And I already read it. It's amazing.
Yes.
Anything else?
Oh yeah, and Orlando.
Oh, another
agree,
person
yeah.
saying that. Oh, thank you so much. All right. So we can head over to questions and answers. If anyone has a question in the comments, by all means, write it down. Or if you guys have any questions, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say when you're describing like the like Harajuku and like the Meiji Shrine, like because I've been there too, it was just kind of like it was kind of like brought me back to walking through it. And like when you were talking about like the pebbles and stuff, I'm like, I remember those pebbles. It has such like a very satisfying crunch to it
when you walk through it.
Yeah, it is so indescribable in a way. Because like all of the stones are like they're like smooth almost. So it just has like a different crunch than like regular gravel, which is like really like everything's rough and going together. So yeah,
I know. I tried to for what happens on this earth, on this world. I tried to put places that I've been to. So I had like the actual vibe of the place and like the actual, like the environment and what it feels like to be there to make it a little bit more real. Obviously, with the other worlds, that was just in my head. So you can. So yeah, trying to get you guys into that scenario, right? Okay. We have a question. If you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would it be?
Ooh,
that's an interesting one.
It is a very interesting one. See, it's hard for me because I didn't know I wanted to be a writer until I actually started writing. So like it was those things that when I thought back about my younger self, I was like, I always liked it. Like I always liked books. I always liked writing. Like the only one subject I was excited about at school, it was composition. And I was always like, the teacher, can you write a story with like 250 words? And I'm like, 250? Like, what are you writing 250? And I remember like being like, can I write a little bit more than 250? Like maybe 300? A little bit more. So I guess I would tell her, like my younger writing self, to just believe in herself and keep writing, to not be too scared of other people reading my writing. Because for many years I wrote only for myself. I wrote short stories for myself. Like whenever I needed to like express what I was feeling, I wrote stories. I wrote poems. I wrote songs with no music because I had no idea how to play any instrument. And I was just scared of showing it to the world. But I think I would say, don't be scared. Go for it. Keep doing it and let everyone read it. And, someday you'll become better.
Aw,
That's awesome.
That's so cute.
What is your writing schedule? Rodrigo is asking. Okay.
Okay.
I do have one because I have a full-time job. So I unfortunately cannot write in the morning. So I usually sit down around 7 to write, and I write like 7 to 10:30, depending where I am at in the chapter or whatever I'm writing at that moment. I do enjoy writing at night. Even though I found that with some sprints, I am very productive in the morning when it's on a Saturday or Sunday. I do enjoy the night. I do enjoy just like being alone and putting some music on and have no one in the house or no one like walking around. I think that's the best time for me.
Any
other question? What is your writing kryptonite?
Everything, like
Yep.
Everything, life.
procrastination.
Yeah. But I don't think that would be my kryptonite. I think for me is getting stuck. So I came to realize that I don't plan a lot when I write. I am starting to.
Thank
I
you,
am starting
God. Thank you.
Luna's a pantser.
Yeah. But I'm starting to plan a lot more. Like I even bought a corkboard and I bought sticky notes and colorful pens and everything because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be more organized because that would be my problem. It'd be like, okay, I wrote this. What's going to happen next? I have no idea. So I think it would be my kryptonite, like not having a plan, just writing and then being like, holy shit,
Yeah.
what did I just do?
I saw a like a screenshot of a Tumblr post where it was like someone saying like, oh hey, like I like your plot, and then the author going, thanks, it has pockets.
Yep.
Indeed, it
Yeah.
does.
Most likely, yes. And I mean, the best example of this was that when I started writing the Spanish version, my idea was that it was going to be a standalone. Just one book, very, reduced in like
it's gonna be one book, and then you're like,
yeah. So I remember one night, just I don't know, I think my husband was working and I was very inspired that day, so I was just writing, and I just kept writing, and then I finished and I went back and I'm like, what did I just do? This is not going to fit in one single book. I just created like 5 different worlds. Oh no, it's time to start thinking about like further. It's not gonna be one, it's gonna be more.
But I think in your defense, like a plan doesn't work for you because sometimes characters do whatever they want. Like if you have your plan and it's like it's going to happen this, and one character says, no, I'm going to go that way, and like you're like, thank you so much, now I have to write another plan. So maybe that worked for you, like not having a plan was better for you.
It did work in the beginning. Definitely it worked in the beginning because then it just exploded.
Well, after, like, you can be a planner and still go off plan. I think there's like a difference between I don't plan at all and I do plan, but I can't use the plan because like it's thrown out the window.
Yes, and that happens.
It's like one is you tried.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And you kind of got like you have your plan, and then you get like the creative juices flowing, and then as you're writing the plan, you're like, wait a minute, this is so much better.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes. I had a question about your the band. Because obviously Mia, Luna, and we all love the same band.
But it has nothing to do with it.
It's a great question.
See, the thing is, though, is the band's name, was that before or after the release of Vortex?
I have to admit that it was after. but it was funny because I just wrote it as that. Like I chose that name in the beginning just because I needed a name and not just be like blank kind of thing. So I'm like, I'm just gonna write this because I don't know. I guess that was the song that was stuck in my head in the moment.
And I was gonna say it's probably was around the release date of it too.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll just write it like that, and then I'll think about it after. But then as I just went by and I wrote the whole book, I'm like, I actually like it. I actually think that's a really cool name. So I just kept it. What's your biggest inspiration? Oh man, there's so many things. There's so many things that inspire me. I do get a lot of inspiration like everybody else from like books that I read, but I also I don't know, like I think I get my inspiration from like really odd places or like odd moments. Like we were watching Dr. Sleep the other day, and I'm like watching it and I'm like and I'm like, hey, where's my phone? I need to write it down. I'm like, why? Like, it's just a scary movie. But then again, I like to give people nightmares. So,
yes.
So I think it's mostly just things that I watch. Like if I watch anime at that odd moment, I will get the inspiration coming, or even like just being out and about and talking about something else, and then the thought comes, and I'm like, okay, elaborate. Okay, write it down. So I can't say I have like biggest inspiration. Like maybe I would say music, just because like the main characters are in a band. So music has a lot to do with it. And I mean, I even, well, maybe for another time, I even have like songs that I think identify some characters, like, oh, this is totally Kay's soundtrack, or this is totally Joanna's soundtrack, and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, a lot of things, but yeah, music might be the biggest one.
You should make up character playlists on Spotify.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have actually thought about it, because I do have a couple of songs, and I'm like I even thought about it. I'm like, how complicated can it be for like to put a page at the end and be like, hey, okay, so when you're in this part, you're gonna go to Spotify and you're gonna play this song, and then you're gonna read this part.
That would be actually a really cool, like obviously I don't think you could get traditionally published like that.
No.
But for what's it called? Yeah, like indie publishing or self-publishing, that'd be really cool if you could have a like a Spotify link almost.
Yes.
And you just like you hold your phone up to it and just be like, play this song while you read this part of the chapter, please.
Yes. Yeah, I did think about it, but
I mean, I don't think you'd want to, because you wouldn't get as much money from it. But like Wattpad allows you to like put a YouTube video at the start of each video chapter, and it's like, you know. But I also think if you just like put it at like the front of the ebook or something, where it's like, here's a playlist, like link, or even just the song titles, it's like get people.
Yeah, and if you have enough,
listen to it.
Yeah, if you have enough songs for each character, you could make each character a playlist.
Yeah, because I did, like, for example, when I had to write, I don't know, certain scenes, and I needed more inspiration, I would be like, okay, I need to listen to this song. So I have like the actual soundtrack of this scene.
Yeah, or even like each chapter could be like a different playlist too.
Yes.
And it's like, hey, you must read at this speed in order to keep up with the songs.
I think that's the problem, no? Like nobody reads on the same speed, and it's like, oh, the song is already ended, and I'm stuck in the same scene.
Yeah.
But it would be a great
again.
experiment to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at us having these great ideas over here.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
Is there any other question? I'm having troubles finishing a book right now. Have you ever had reader's block? Yes. Not gonna say what book, just because I don't think I should say it, because, like, you know, it happens. But yeah, I think I have a couple of books on my shelf that I'm like, I will get to you one day. Maybe I will have to restart, because I won't remember where I was at. But yeah, have you guys had reader's block?
I was having reader's block with Shadow and Bone, because I did the audiobook first, and I was like, oh my God, I hate this narrator. And I had gotten the physical book, and I was just like, my grad school program was doing it as a book club, and we were like going to talk about the book, and then we were going to watch like the first 2 episodes of the Netflix show. And like we'd all already seen the show before, but it was like, we were going to group watch through Netflix Party, and it'll be fun, yada. And so I was like, I need to finish reading the book. So I just like sat down on my bed and I didn't stop. And so it was like, okay, that's the first time I've had reader's block that I was able to get over, because it was like, it wasn't the story itself that was the problem. But normally when I have reader's block, I'm like DNF.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't finished a book in probably over like almost a year and a half. I just didn't read at all. Okay. And then over the summer I was like, okay, no, this book, I'm just gonna read this book, because I'm one of those people that like, if I don't read it all, but like basically in one sitting, it's not gonna get read.
I'm kind of like that too.
Yeah. So I read this book. It took me about 3 hours to read, and I was like, you know what, that was good. And then I didn't read anything else. And then,
yes, of course.
Yes. And then literally for the past, because I am doing kind of like a V.E. Schwab method. So I have been doing like I've been tracking things.
Okay.
They're like, and it's actually really like I really like it. It's my 3rd month tracking So I do things like I track like, did I walk that day? Did I journal? Did I read, write, etc. And like what projects did I work on? And yeah, so I noticed, okay, the journal one, it's just, I'm not doing the journal one, but it's there. I want to try to do it. And then the reading one for the past 2 months has been blank as well. So I'm just like, literally for the past 2 nights, I've been, you know what? No, I'm going to read before bed, because usually I'll just be scrolling on like Twitter or something. So I have 2 books next to my bed.
Me to fill in my bullet journal for my
You're welcome.
I've been tracking my time like advanced.
That is so cool.
But I've been forgetting to fill out like
Yeah.
So
I
don't
love
mind
that.
me. I'm listening.
But yeah, so I have 2 books beside my bed. One is a manga, and the other one is an actual like book, or like a you know what I mean. So depending, for the past 2 nights, I've been really tired. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna read 1 chapter of a manga, because you don't have to like think too much about it. Yeah, and it's been. Yeah, I want to keep up that habit.
Yes,
so,
of course.
Yes, that's how I am slowly overcoming my reader's block.
Yeah, I think my main problem is that I'm finding, I always say, like, I need to find the time to read. But I never find the time to read.
We don't.
I never did. Like,
No.
I'm like, okay,
Right
I'm
before
gonna...
bed.
Yeah, and then I'm writing or something.
But then you're too tired to read, and you just want to scroll your Twitter because I'm too tired to read a book or something. So it's very difficult to overcome that.
My time to read always becomes my time to write. So what I end up doing is I'm like, I should go to bed. But I have this book on my phone that I haven't read yet. And then I'm like up until 3 a.m. and I'm like, why'd I do that? And I was like, but at least I read a nice book.
But I think it depends on the book. I mean, like if you really love the book, you're not going to have reader's block at all. Usually, like you're going to stay up all night reading it. Just like I think my biggest reader block was with Cloud Atlas. I started reading it, and then I just left it there, and then I restart the reading 2 years later. And I was like, I'm not going to start again. I'm going to start right where I left it. And then I finished the book in 3 days. It was insane. It was like, I don't know why did I have because I think the book finds you, like maybe in that moment it wasn't appropriate. And then 2 years later, it was like, you have to read this now. Everything is going to be fine. And I was like, oh my God. And it's one of my favorite books now. So it's
have you read like the entire series now?
No, I'm very stuck in Number 9 Dream by the same author, and I just like I have been reading it by like 2 years now, and I haven't finished it. And I think it's going to happen the same with Cloud Atlas. I'm going to restart, and then I'm just going to finish in 3 or 2 days.
Yeah, I believe in you.
David Mitchell is a quite strange author for me. So.
Yeah. You Google yourself. Okay, time to confess. You guys Googled yourselves.
Yes.
I have.
Yeah.
Like not often, but I just
Oh no.
No.
I just wanted to make sure. I was like, I just want to see what is going to pop up right now.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure that you don't have a porn actress name as well. So it's very important.
So everybody has Googled themselves at some point.
So like if I Google myself now, we have like all stuff that's actually me, and then we get down to stuff where I'm like, I don't know if this is me. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not me. Like halfway down the first page of search.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm on top, so that's what matters.
Yeah, I think that's what matters, that we are on the top. Yes, I agree. More questions. How do you keep track of all the plot lines for the sequel? That's a problem. I don't keep track of anything. I trust my brain.
Don't.
And then
That's why we have a corkboard.
Yes. Well, now I have I do have my corkboard and I have my sticky notes, but I also have like on my notes on my phone, on little files and folders
Mhm.
according to the book. And then I have my done notes. So this is how I keep track, because otherwise I will be lost.
Mhm.
My first trilogy, like they're all linked, but they're also like all on their own kind of. But I have some scenes in the second book that are like this, but from a different perspective, or like,
Oh.
or it
Mhm.
wasn't from a different perspective, but it's like in reaction to this. So like I need to know, remember like how I wrote it. So like I had this open while writing this
Mhm.
one.
Yes.
But then with these, because I like wrote them each within like 2 months, so I could publish them each within 3 months of each other, like back
Wow.
to back to back, which I don't
Wow.
recommend, and I never want to do again. Like I had outlined everything, but I still like if there was something that I forgot, like or I knew was gonna like be important in the follow-up book, like I would make a note in the outline for the earlier book and be like,
Mhm.
copy and paste this into book X outline
Mhm.
Mhm.
or something. Or if I remembered, I'd be like, this was in a previous book. I don't remember exactly where. So it's like, go back through the outlines of the other books instead of having to read the whole manuscript of each book. But yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's never like an easy task.
No.
No matter how you do it. Like there's still a lot of...
I think it's the hardest part because I was like, I'm writing the second book and I was like, fuck, what did I wrote on the first one? What did I did?
You're like, I know this was me, but like, I have
know.
no memory of it. It's like amnesia.
Yes, and
I
it
know.
was like, did this happen or not? Or I just thought about it. Did I wrote
my
it
gosh.
down? Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah, and
Yeah.
and you go like first, second, third draft, and you're like, did I wrote it on the first or did I wrote it on the second one or is it published? Did I just think about it? I think it's very complicated when you're writing a trilogy or a saga or whatever to keep like track all the details, because sometimes you wrote down like, okay, I know this is going to appear on the second and the third book. I know that this is going to happen, but sometimes you are writing and something that happened before comes around in here and it's like, oh shit, what did I do? Oh my god!
And you're like, why did I do that?
Yeah. I think for me, plots are hard to like keep together, but I also struggle a little bit when I am like world building, just because I need to like be very conscious about like, okay, so what is the weather like? Like, can she be? No, it's too cold for sweat, or stuff like that. So just like keep it straight and just make sure that it makes sense for the world. Like even if it's fantasy and it doesn't make sense for our world, like just for it to actually make sense.
Yeah,
I think that is my biggest part, because as you guys will know, there's like 5 different worlds with like their own people, their own culture, their own politics, their own
traditions, hard world building. You know what I should do? Write 5 different worlds.
Because
that
why not?
Sense.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, that seems like a good exercise in...
Forget diving into the deep end. You're diving into the ocean.
Yes, I am. See, I like to live on the edge. You know, it brings a little bit spice to my life.
Right into the Marianas Trench.
Yeah, I did this to myself and I am fully conscious about it.
Well, based on what you read, I'm sure you did an amazing job.
Oh, thank you so much. I think I am very proud of what I've been writing. So
that's good. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I wrote this and like I'm nervous, and like they're not able to say that they're proud, or they're like, I don't feel like I should, and I'm like, are you kidding? You wrote, like, you should be proud.
Everybody should be proud of what they write. Like just the fact that you're writing a book and you actually got it to publish either way, like even if it was Wattpad or actually publishing it through Amazon or whatever, like you should be proud of what you're writing. Not everyone can finish a book. Like, come on.
I mean, you can be embarrassed by what you're writing before you like clean it up and publish it. But like if you published it so that other people can read it in any way, like you should be proud of that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think it's more so like some scenes that some family members read and you're like, have you gotten to chapter 3 yet?
I told my cousins, and I literally have at the start of this entire trilogy, at the start of each book, to my writer friend. So, you know, I have the like dedication on the first one. I said to my writer friends who inspire me. And then I said, P.S. Mom, family, and family friends, you should skip this one.
Yep.
That's a
I was
great
at-
disclaimer.
And I had a family brunch or something, and like I have a cousin who's older than me, and she like reads all my books, and like I don't really care. Like she's, you know, she's fine. And then her husband was there, and some of our male cousins were there, and like, oh, we want to read. I was like, And they
no.
were like, oh my god, now we really want to. And I was like, well, if you do, you can never mention to me that you've read it, or I will never be able to look you in the eye again.
I know.
Oh God, I
I
totally
feel
get
the
that
same way.
feeling. Yeah,
Yeah.
It just for me it was like my first book has a lot of erotic scenes.
Yeah, like this is
Everywhere it is just
like
very
I have a pet
explicit.
name for stuff that like I don't want anyone like I
yeah.
can't stand
And my-
anyone that I know to know that I wrote it. But like this is like I'm okay with people knowing I wrote it, but I can't stand like
knowing that
my
they
family read it.
Yeah.
Or something.
yeah no when for me it was like when my mom read it, she was like, okay, that's an interesting way you're writing, and I was like, sorry, is this the kind of things that I can write about? Sorry so much. And my mom, she's so open-minded and so hippie.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was like, this is so uncomfortable. And my cousin bought a copy for my niece, and she's like 10, and I was like, she cannot read it, come on. I mean, like,
Yeah.
she was like,
My mom
Yeah.
sounds like your mom in that like she's very open minded, but she read this and she's like, "Can you tone it down?" And I was like, "No, not really." And then
Yeah, I
also-
know.
And my ex had told his like mom that like I wrote and published books, so she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy it for like your grandma," to my ex, and because it's young adult, and I'm like, "No, that's no." I was like, "Young adult does not equal clean."
Yeah, I
Please
know.
stop her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
maybe in
sometimes-
like previous like years, you know, in like the 80s and the 90s. But then you
Yeah.
could consider like YA like kind of like clean because of like it'd be very strict for
I think
publishing.
even like through maybe like 2005, and then it's like after that, it's like
Yes.
things started kind of pushing the
Mhm.
envelope, and then it's like now it's like, oh, there's upper YA and there's new adult and there's adult, and it's like,
Mhm.
and then there are some people who are like, it's YA, and I'm like, but is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think when there was like a I can't remember what it was, but someone was saying that there is a YA book with a 25-year-old protagonist, and yeah, I don't know, just like for me, like YA, it's, you know, you're like a teenager more so, and then 25, I would feel like even if you do have more of like, you know.
25 is the end of new adult and the start of adult, depending on the themes in the book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's because someone had mentioned it, and then it was back when I still worked at Indigo. So then I went and I saw it on the shelf, and it was like shelved in the young adult section, and like I scanned the book because I'm like, this doesn't seem right. So I scanned it, and it was young adult.
Because
So-
it's like, you can have an adult book about a kid,
Yes.
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
like you can't have a young adult book about older people.
No,
Like
because
an
it would be
adult.
weird.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then you would have like very immature characters and
Yeah,
with like
if
very
you're 25
weird
and you're acting
situations.
like this is like,
yeah, that's not.
or you have an actual 25-year-old
Mhm.
acting like a 25-year-old, and then you have young adult people being like, I can't relate to this at all.
Exactly.
And I think that's the tricky thing about this genre, because sometimes we are like very fans of young adult, but you cannot relate because the protagonist is 16 years old, no? And you're like, oh my God, I cannot relate, but I love the story. I love the things that are happening here, or the high fantasy or the urban fantasy, whatever. And you start writing about that, no? Just because that protagonist is older. But I think not a lot of people know that this genre exists. So they are just, they're very, very quickly to say, it's young adult. I don't care. And it's like, no, for me, it was like very important to say, like, they are not teenagers. They can get drunk. They smoke. They have all this experience that not a teenager has.
Yeah.
So, and
Which is,
and it's very dangerous for a teenager to come and, I'm going to read this. Oh my God, can I do that? He's like, no, they are no role models. Come on.
No,
thing,
you're a
though.
child.
And I don't know if it's because of like the people who like, I'm not saying that I liked. So like, I'm not saying I behave this way or I condone it, but like Gossip Girl type of
Yeah.
behavior. Like teens do a lot of crazy stuff. So like if we put the actual stuff that teens do in books, everyone would be like, you can't put that in young adult. And we're like, well, like
But that's what
clearly
they
we
do.
can't, but that doesn't mean that they haven't found it on the internet or their friends have found it on the internet and then they've done it because they're friends. It's like
Exactly.
But
But this is why I
YA at a certain level, and that's one thing. But you can't be like, oh, real teens aren't like that, and that's your argument because teens are like that.
exactly. That I was going to say that's why I don't advertise my book as young adult, because it is not young adult. Just to be clear.
You could classify it as new adult.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. I think it's new adults. But I think another thing that is just like young adult, it's the first book that some people approach to literature. You know, like it's the first thing. And sometimes you're not writing anymore like that. It has more complex plot and everything like that. So it cannot be a young adult. I'm sorry. I love young adult, but it's not like that.
Like, I will say that I sometimes feel like maybe I should call my young adult trilogy new adult because they are like in college, but the themes are very young adult, if that makes sense. And it's not so like, regardless of what my mom thinks, like it's not something where it's like, oh yeah, that has to be new adult. Like, so I call it young adult. And like, if people press me, I'm like upper young adult. Like I wouldn't give it to someone who's like 14 or 15.
Yes.
Like a mature 16-year-old or like the rest of people who are reading YA, it's like, it's fine. Like nothing's going to scandalize them in any way. But then like I have my new adult series where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be responsible for like a young adult.
Exactly.
I don't have to make a role model about it. No, it's just like I love a protagonist that has like real adult problems. And also I like vampires and I like werewolves and I just want to get all that mixed. And a teenager doesn't suffer about loans or something like that. So
exactly. So like, how do you face a magical path like ahead of you when you have so many debts?
I have
or
to
maybe
pay the
you
rent.
don't have a job like Joanna. She doesn't have a job. She's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do?
That's actually a problem in like the third book in my young adult, where it's like one of the main characters, because I always in those books it was always a male and female, and like my main female character like loses her job, and she's like, shit, like I'm the one in charge of this werewolf pack, and if I don't have money, that's a problem.
Exactly.
And it was like the first time I ever like did like a real world thing affecting the other one, and it was just like,
yeah, and I love that because sometimes I don't like young adult that when they discover the magical stuff, whatever it's happening, they just the real life doesn't exist anymore. It's like, oh yeah, I don't care, and you're like, whoa. And you have to do homework or you have to go to school, man. What the fuck? I'm sorry. and with adults, it's more about that. It's like if you're going to lose your job, you cannot keep a magical track. You know, and you cannot save werewolves when you're not have any money about that. So I think it's really important.
You have a
to
mortgage.
that time.
Do you have mortgage to pay? Like, how are you gonna just like travel to a past life?
Right. The taxes.
Who's gonna pay the rent?
Exactly.
who's gonna pay the rent when you're gone? You're gonna come back and you're gonna wish that you had just stayed in the past life.
What about my student loans? The interest on it. My goodness.
And then I have these vampires just chasing me.
Yeah.
You
And
don't
these
understand.
age crises. Yeah.
It's like I have these vampire killers hunting me, but like at the same time, I like my home and I don't want to have to move to another country and create another identity again. So I should at least pay my rent before I,
Before I leave.
go on the run.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh yes, I have a doctor's appointment on Monday, so can we reschedule like later?
The hunting.
Yeah, the hunting part, please. Yeah, but I think I try to depict that on my book because sometimes normal life can get you in your magical life. Like, okay, you have to go hunting. No, I have to pay the rent, so excuse me, I'm going to go to work. I'm sorry, but so it's like it can be like really weird for the plot, but I think it's something that, I mean, if some vampire came to me right now, I will like, okay, yeah, but I need a place to stay before I can go with you. So can I pay my rent?
Did you ever watch American Dragon, Jake Long?
Yes.
Right. So it's like that, where it's like, did he always like want to be the cool like dragon? Yeah, but he had to go to school, and he also had to work in his grandfather's shop. Like he had responsibilities he couldn't get out of.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny. Do we have time for maybe another question? Oh, you guys, what was your favorite childhood book? Goosebumps.
Ooh. I'm trying to think. I really liked the Babysitter's Club when I was younger.
Childhood book.
Yeah, I think that was very much like a childhood defining series for me.
Yeah.
And then secondly was Harry Potter, but that was because I wasn't allowed to read it.
Oh, you little rebel.
Yeah. So then that's what got me into fantasy, is not being allowed to watch Harry Potter and being like, but I was allowed to watch Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Wow.
I know.
Logic.
It's because Lord of the Rings was, just fantasy, whereas Harry Potter was about witchcraft. We couldn't do that.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want to get you into witchcraft.
Absolutely not.
We don't do those things.
No, we don't.
Over here.
No, we don't.
None of them.
No.
Not here. Not in fantasy.
Get out.
Yep.
There's no witchcraft allowed in Canada.
I don't even know what to do that, but yeah.
You can't even say that with a straight face.
For me, I don't know. See, under that same premise, I went to a very, very Catholic school, a very, 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 very old Catholic school, very old-fashioned.
Sorry.
So I was obviously not allowed to read a lot of things. So I think for me, it wasn't a book. It was a poem by Edgar Allan Poe, which oddly, it was in one of my English books when I was in grade 2. And it was Annabelle Lee. And it just haunted me so much that I even years after I was grade 6 or whatever, I would go back to that one reading book in English, because that's how I learned English. And I would just go back and read that poem again and again, because I just really liked it. So as soon as I had, more knowledge and money, I bought the whole book that has all the poems and short stories by Edgar Allan Poe.
I love his stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so creepy.
It's so creepy.
I took a class all about ghost literature, and we read a lot by him. This is the best thing ever.
I know.
He is. For me, it was I'm a Harry Potter child as well. You had to when you're my age, but I think also in a very cliche way, I love Alice in Wonderland because I love the movie and the book. Just I had to read it. I didn't understand much because I was 9 or something, 8, 9, and I was yeah, but I have to read it because it's Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, but it really got me. It's just I love the story. I love Alice. I love everything about it. But Harry Potter as well was the one that dragged me into fantasy. And Twilight, I have to say, because
oh my gosh, right? I forgot about Twilight.
Yeah, because my mom.
That's what I was expecting you to say before you said Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, but it was really weird because my mom bought it for me because it was about vampires, and I was all into vampires, oh my god, and Rise and everything. But she oh, this is great stuff, right? And I was reading Twilight, and I don't know what I'm reading, but I think that's nice. I think.
I don't know.
The 4 books. I have to admit it, but it was just by the 4th one, I was what the fuck am I reading? But yeah, I love it. Yeah. So
yeah, I read the first 3 Twilight books in 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They are
I read Breaking Dawn in one sitting. I didn't leave my room, and that thing was big.
I went to the release party at our bookstore,
our midnight
release
Oh
party.
really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have never cared enough about a book to sacrifice my sleep to go to a release party, but I've enjoyed books enough to completely sacrifice my sleep in the comfort of my own home.
That happened to me with Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like on the last, I don't know, like maybe 2-3 chapters, and then the lights went out. It was raining outside, and it was like, I don't know, 10 at night, and I'm like, I can't. Like, this can't stop me. So there's me with candles because we are in the 1800s. And I finished the book at like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
like this.
With just a candle. Like, oh my gosh, I need to finish this. I can't just stop right now. Yeah.
My favorite book from childhood is if you're in the US, it's called The Golden Compass. If you're anywhere else,
yes.
Northern Lights. And it's the same cousin who I was like, I'm okay with you reading this, but not your husband. She's the one who recommended it to me. And I just really loved it. I'm like one of the few people who's okay with the movie. Like there are things I don't like about it, but there are things I think the movie did okay. And they streamlined the story, which is so much better for a movie. Like, you know, if you have events happening up in the north, maybe just have all the events happening in the north happen one after each other instead of we're in the north, we're back in London. Nope, we're back in the north, London, you know? And people were mad that the book had changed. And then I was watching the show and I was like, the actress who was cast to play Mrs. Coulter, I like, Ruth Wilson. And like the way they were doing the demons and stuff was very cool. Not that the other one was bad, but it was cool. And then they like whitewashed all the gypsy inspired characters and I can't stand the actors playing Lyra. And I'm like, I'm done. I don't care. And like, while Will is black and that's cool, you also cast like arguably the most atrocious character as a black man. And like, I have problems with that those are the only black people in this movie. And I was just like, So like, I love the book and I like the movie. And the show pisses me off, honestly. But Lewis Carroll wrote poems that are kind of about Alice in Wonderland without like explicitly being about it. So there's, and I wrote a paper about it in high school. So there's one called Dreamland, and there's one called Prologue, and there's one called Epilogue. And it's kind of like Dreamland sounds like he's describing Wonderland, but he never calls it that. And I'm pretty sure this like might have been like his first idea for it or whatever. But then Prologue and Epilogue are kind of like, it tells the story of him telling, and now I'm blanking on the real girls' names, but like that Alice Liddell siblings, like the story. And so like if you read those, it's a nice bookend.
Oh, I'm going to read it. I haven't read it. And I just have to confess something. I hate the Golden Compass book. I watched.
We can still be friends.
Sorry. Yeah, I love the movie like hell. I love the movie, and so I said I'm going to. I hope the book is better because sometimes they are better. And I
think it's because I had read the book before seeing it.
Maybe, but yeah, it was like, what am I reading? I went to read the movie I saw. I haven't seen the series, but now you're telling me this. I don't have
so like here's the thing is that I think that acting by everyone except the main character is good. And like aside from the casting issues of like the racial casting issues that I have. But the main character, like Lyra's supposed to be, you know, tomboy, disobedient, rambunctious, whatever, fine. You can like buck the system and still deliver your lines without shouting them every single time. And I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's her or the director, but I was like, I can't handle 3 seasons of this.
That happened to me with the TV show for The Mortal Instruments.
Oh yeah.
See, I watched the whole thing because I was quarantining, so I had a lot of time.
I watched the whole thing while it was still going.
No.
And
while it was live, just because I needed something. But I think the movie was better cast.
yes, definitely. That's what I was gonna say.
But the director or the script, or both the director and the script, did so badly. Whereas the show, it's like the scripts were better, but the casting like wasn't. Although I love Harry Shum Jr. and I think
yes.
I think Dominic Sherwood was okay, and Alex Daddario was I had nothing really against the cast. Like I think the movie was cast better and stuff, but it's like I hate the plot of the movie so much that the TV show seems so much better. But then if you like take it on its own, you're like, it's not that good.
Yeah, no, I think I watched it, and I watched the whole thing just because I wanted to like make myself suffer.
Yes.
I was just being like, okay, how bad can it be? How bad can it be? Let's see how much I can stand this torture.
No.
Like try me how much I can stand.
No. And you can stand a lot, because I just got it till episode 6, I guess. And I was like, why am I watching Power Rangers? I love Power Rangers and not this. They are acting like that. And it was like, why? And I love the book so much. It was hurtful.
I think the only thing that I think the show did like so much better than the movie was Valentine. Because like I actually felt like he's dangerous. He's a madman, like whatever. Whereas when it was Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, I was like, why are you shirtless?
Yeah, it's handsome to be Valentine.
Exactly. Think about the way you're delivering your lines makes me want to laugh in your face instead of like cower in fear. It's like you led a rebellion that like got you in trouble. Really? Like people actually listen to you?
It's a rebellion shirtless. Yeah, you can do that. Totally.
Yeah. Did you ever consider writing under a pseudonym? Well, it is a pseudonym. So I have considered it. And I am using it now.
I have one, and no one's ever going to find out what it is because it's even spicier than...
Oh my God.
Oh, I like that.
Very serious. Yeah.
Guys, life mission?
Not to insult my parents, because I think my name is beautiful, but it just doesn't ring for, an author.
Yeah, like a ring for the genre, like the je ne sais quoi you're going for,
Exactly.
This is my real name, though.
Oh, there you go.
So, you have a writer's name, yeah?
For her spicy stories.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing, because I have a pseudonym for my book, because if you Google my real name, you can achieve like some spicy fanfics that might not be yaoi. So it's like, oh, no, you don't want to go there. It's just the book. So like that.
Like I know some people who are like, I'm gonna have a different pen name for every genre, and I'm like, but my voice is like similar no matter what genre I'm writing in, and that just seems like a lot of paperwork to do with the IRS that I don't feel like doing. But it's like, okay, so basically, like, yes, I'll label them as different age categories and different genres or whatever. But like, if it's me, it's me. And if it's something that I don't want anyone in my real life finding, but like I still need to write because that's how my brain works. Like if you get a story idea, it's gonna be written at some point. Like that, I can't be like, that one can just stay an idea. Like I'm eventually gonna have to write it, and then I'm like, yeah, but I can't put that under my name.
Exactly. I totally get you.
Ever.
Yeah. See, the thing is, my name is very linked to my full-time job. Which is a childcare provider. And it does not go with what I write. So you don't want to put those two things together. I want to look like a decent human being that is capable of taking care of children while I break people into pieces in my books. And not have a connection between one and the other.
That's fair. I feel like that's the main reason that people like do a pen name, where it's like, I can't have this getting out.
Yeah, exactly.
This will be my last question.
Yeah, I think we're gonna probably end this very soon because, as I said, I work as well tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which author inspires you and why? I don't have only one. I have a couple of them. One of them is Cassandra Clare. I'm a big fan. Like if she says hi to me, I will cry.
Yeah. I did.
I also like and found a lot of inspiration on this author called Nicole Piller. So I found her books by chance when I was in the US at a Barnes and Noble, and I'm like, oh, I like this. I'm gonna read it. And I just liked it so much. So I find a lot of inspiration in her books. It's also fantasy. And who else? I think that would be my main two. Well, and Edgar Allan Poe. It just like the creepy, dark vibes always like just gets me a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, like for me also it's Cassandra Clare, because I don't know how she managed to write all these kinds of books and one after another and after another and after another, and I was like, dude, I cannot even write one. What the actual fuck is that?
That's also, I think it's because the first like little bit she did copy off another author. There was a lawsuit.
Yes. Oh, and I discovered a lot of stuff about her in the Harry Potter fandom, and I was like, holy shit! Wow, the gossip is amazing. But anyways, and the other one for me is Patrick Rothfuss. He wrote The Name of the Wind. And
I was like, why is that name familiar to me?
Yeah,
like it was coming up in my brain.
Yeah, and he was like one of the few authors that I have read, and he managed to write in some kind of level that you just picture it in your head, but so vividly. And I was like, oh, his attention to the details are so accurate and so well written, and I was like, I have to write like this. I want to write like this, that someone is reading me and says, oh, she depicted perfectly, and it's like watching a movie to reading him. So it was like, for me, it's such an inspiration. And fucking Brandon Sanderson, I hate him as well. I mean, what? How you can write so much? I mean, it's impossible. But yeah, that would be my ones.
Do you want to go or?
You go, because I'm still thinking.
Okay. So I would say like Wendy Higgins, who wrote the Sweet Evil series traditional before she then like did indie publishing for like a different type of mythology, and then she went back to traditional publishing and then also did another indie. So I really like that she can do whatever she wants, and she kind of writes all over the place. And she can like do straight fantasy, and she can do like paranormal romance, and she can do contemporary romance. So I'm like, I really like that she can do whatever she wants and always tell a good story in my mind. And then I like Leigh Bardugo because she's prolific and she also creates amazing worlds. And it's just like, she also gets better with every book, like as everyone should, but it's like you can really see it, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you didn't like The Golden Compass, you're going to hate The Subtle Knife and The Amber.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you can make it through, what was it? Storm. What's the first one? Of the. Hold on, English is failing now.
Of which series?
You can do it.
Where did you go? This is the problem of having rainbow bookshelves.
What series are you talking about?
The Shadow and Bone. What's the first one?
The first book is called Shadow and Bone.
That one. Hey, I have been up since 4:30 this morning.
Okay,
I deserve this.
More slack.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, like going from like Shadow and Bone like onward in the series is you just get more and more invested in it because it does get so much better.
But even just hearing about like the character development that is awaiting me when I finally reach the Six of Crows duology and then the King of Scars duology and Ninth House, it's like I'm so excited.
You know what? I just read, so I'm not, well, I wasn't too much into sci-fi, but I read Alive by Scott Sigler and mind blown with that first book. Because like I was very skeptical. I'm like, I'm not into sci-fi, but okay, I already bought it and I need to read it. And it just got me so much. I finished it so fast. And like just the fact that for the first almost half of the book, you have no idea what's going on. Like, you know, things are getting bad. You know, everything is falling apart. You know, it's bad, but you have no idea what's really going on. until like passing the second half of the book, you're like, oh, so this is what's going on. Oh, so this is where they were. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Like I had so many theories in my head while reading the first few chapters, and I'm like, are they in a spaceship? Are they underground? Or is it the present, the past, the future? Where am I? Like this is bad, but where am I? And then when you realize, you're like, oh, I like what you did there. I see what you did there. So, yeah, like I was, and he liked one of my tweets, and I was very excited and like fangirl mode on. So recommend it for that. Yeah, Scott
Speaking of fangirl moments, I'll like tweet at Wendy Higgins or Cora Carmack. She's another one, but she has most. I haven't actually read her high fantasy, young adult fantasy stuff yet because it keeps getting pushed down my TBR because I find something else. But she had done the originally self-published Losing It series, which is contemporary new adult romance. She was like kind of the one that like made it really big. And then because then it got picked up by like smaller publishers when they did it. But like I'll tweet at both of them. I'll be like, oh my God, I read this book. And whenever they heart it, I'm like, oh my God.
I know. You're like, I feel so special.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's it for the questions. Then again,
going to go to bed now.
yes, I think everybody's going to sleep now.
I'm streaming at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh my God, why you're doing that to yourself?
Because I like to stream on Fridays. I don't know. It just like sets me off on a good day rather than being like, oh my God, I wish Friday was like the actual weekend because I work from 11 to 4, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And it's like, okay, if I can get my creative stuff done first, then I'll feel like good about, not doing anything after my work day if that happens. Because my work, it's like, and it is creative. It's sometimes draining enough that it's like, I can't do my own creative stuff out.
Yeah, I start work at 7:30, so yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's like.
Yeah, I'll be getting up at around 7:15 to walk the dogs. So
yeah.
Oh my God, no.
No. I have Riley this weekend, so I'll probably actually have to wake up at 7 instead of the 8 that I normally do.
Well, I wake up at 5:20.
No. Why you do that to yourself?
I know, like I'm and I'm like, no, I don't want to switch off with you.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm awake at 9 or 10 or 11. Like advertising is very sweet for me sometimes.
By that time, I'm on like my third coffee.
Oh yeah, but I can finish as well at 4 a.m. So
true,
it compensates. So yeah, but okay, so
then again, thank you guys for coming to this party. Hopefully, you guys have fun.
So much fun.
Please go
I'm
buy
sleepy,
it.
but I'm fun.
Go buy it. It's really pretty. I promise. I put all my soul and heart in it.
It's really good. I mean, I'm not saying this because I'm her best friend, but she did a really good job about it.
Thank you so much.
From the reading we heard.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Yeah,
oh, thank you.
No doubt.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That makes
if
me
I
really
didn't have a stream tomorrow, I'd probably be reading it on my phone tonight. But
it's okay.
Yay.
It's okay. As long as you guys get to read it and you like it and you tell me what you thought about it, that would be amazing.
Yes. Wait, what was your tagline?
Nightmares.
Yeah,
if I give some people nightmares.
Yeah.
Yes, but if I give you nightmares,
please DM me.
please tell me because that makes me really happy.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah. So then again, thank you for coming. Everybody, if someone watches this like live or later on, make sure to check these ladies. I will put all the information in the description because I had technical difficulties, so I had to stream through another channel. So I will upload to my channel further tomorrow. Thank you so much. I am Luna Alba. And my dear friends Mia Cassis, Zara Hoffman, and Jordan.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you. Go to Amazon and buy it.
Bye. Bye. I love this book. Bye.